All right, welcome to episode 2 of what I'm now going to start calling Mr. Hat's Life is Horror series because it combines my two favorite things in the world, horror and Life is Strange, the video game series. And in this series, we're just going to talk everything in horror, in life, everything in life that is horror related. Jesus Christ. And it's all going to be one take. So if I fuck up like that, who cares? I'm just going to keep talking. No editing, no graphics, no trailers, no clips, nothing. So no editing, let's just keep going. So in this video, what you can expect is upcoming horror release movies. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some horror news, some horror merchandise that's coming out, stuff like that. That's what this series is going to be all about. And then mini reviews for movies I've watched recently. And I'm going to talk about 2022 movies, though, that I've yet to talk about on this channel, like X, Pearl, Wounded Fawn, Blood Relatives, Speak No Evil, Violent Night, which isn't a horror movie, but whatever. It's got some gory kills, and it's from a director who's done horror in the past, so I'll count it. And Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Just got back from the theater. Saw that by myself. No one else was in the theater, so that was interesting. Yeah, and then I'm going to end the video, this time with a quiz, not a ranking. I kind of want to go back and forth. Like, one video I'll do a ranking, and then the next video I'll do some kind of fun horror movie quiz. And so in this video, I'm going to do a Final Destination quiz to test my knowledge on my second favorite horror franchise of all time. So that will be this video, and we're going to try to keep this shorter than the last one. I was not expecting to talk for over an hour last time, and my throat was killing me afterwards. So I'm going to try to make this like 30 to 40 minutes max. So let's see if we can do that. So let's jump into the news. So, upcoming releases, we got Terror Train Remake Sequel. The remake just came out a couple months ago. Fucking hated it. And now it's getting a sequel, but hopefully this one will be better because now they have nothing to copy. Like the first one, the remake copied everything about the original, almost, scene for scene, kill for kill, same fucking movie. Just a little different twist. But now with the sequel, it's like they have nothing to look at and copy, so they have to do something different, right? So hopefully it's better. I doubt it, but I'll probably check it out for shits and giggles. And if it's terrible, I'll just shut it off 5 minutes in, like I did with that Nutcracker movie. So that's another recent movie I can talk about real quick. The Nutcracker movie that just came out to Tubi. It's called Nutcracker Massacre, I believe. And it was so awful in the first 5 minutes, I turned it off. I was like, nope, not gonna do it. So Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 through 5 is finally getting a Blu-ray release from Shout Factory. It's coming this month in the next couple weeks. You can get it on Amazon for about 17 bucks. And I would recommend getting it for 4 and 5, but just skip 3. In fact, when you get your copy, just take part 3 and burn it. All right, so that's coming out from Shout Factory this month. Next month, we got The Dentist 1 and 2 finally coming to Blu-ray. I have the DVDs. I don't love these movies enough to want to upgrade or anything, so I'm just going to keep my DVDs. I'm fine with having those. But if you don't have the movies and you haven't seen them, I recommend checking them out. They're not terrible. They're fine. They're good slashers, but not really slashers. I'm not sure if I would say The Dentist is a slasher. Is it? The kills aren't slasher-like, but whatever. It's a madman movie. It's just some madman dentist going around fucking up people's teeth. It's enjoyable. It's from Brian Yuzna, who also did one of the Silent Night, Deadly Night films. So there's a little connection there. Upcoming release in February, I believe, is a movie by Elizabeth Banks called Cocaine Bear that everyone's talking about. I'm looking forward to that because it looks like it will be ridiculous fun. It is about what you would expect from that title. It's about a cocaine bear. The bear does cocaine, loses its mind, and starts attacking people, ripping them apart in gory fashion. So looks like it could be a lot of fun. And I talked about in the last episode about Texas Chainsaw Massacre getting a video game, I believe, or maybe that was like part of the Q&A portion. Someone brought it up. Anyways, now there is a board game coming out for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I didn't read too many details about it. I just saw that it was announced, looked at a couple of pictures, and from what I gather, it looks like it's going to be similar to what that Friday the 13th board game was, which was not that great. So next up is Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Rama is getting a sequel, finally. from Full Moon. This is a movie that came out in 1988. It is ridiculous, set at like a bowling alley. It's got these sorority babes in a slime bowl around. Yeah, it's got like Brink Stevens. I enjoyed that movie. I would recommend checking out the original, and I'm curious to check out this sequel. I hope it's as fun and goofy as the original. And yeah, and speaking of sequels, we got The Mutilator 2 is apparently already done filming. It was, I guess, secretly filmed. I didn't hear anything about it until it was done. Like, I read that The Mutilator 2 has wrapped filming, and it has the same director and writer as the original, Buddy Cooper, and I believe returning cast. I don't have a release date, but hopefully it comes out sometime next year. And another franchise that's getting a sequel, I don't remember if I even talked about it in the last video, so I'm going to talk about it here in case I didn't. Tobin Bell is reprising his role as Jigsaw in Saw X. They're going to space in this one. Not really, but that would be kind of cool. The same director as Saw 6 and 7, Kevin Greutert, is returning. He's going to direct Saw X. I doubt it's going to be called Saw X. They're going to call it something else. And it has the same writers as Jigsaw and Spiral from the Book of Saw, which I was not a fan of. That was like my least favorite movie that came out last year, and my least favorite of the franchise. So that kind of worries me that they're writing this one and they wrote that one. Like, Jigsaw, which they wrote, was all right. It's like in the middle of my ranking, but their writing for Spiral, I just thought it was so bad. Oh, I could get into a whole rant about that movie, but I'm not. But yeah, I mean, it could be good, it could be bad, I don't know. But Tobin Bell's coming back, so that might help it some, because he was not in Spiral like at all. And another person that's returning, supposedly, they're in talks right now to return, is Shawnee Smith, who played what's her face in the first 3 Saw films. What was her name? Amanda. She might be coming back. She would have to come back in like a prequel or something, because spoiler, she's dead, and so is Tobin Bell. Hell, he's been dead for a long time, but they keep somehow bringing him back. This whole franchise is weird. But yeah, and the next thing I want to talk about, it's very old news, but in case someone doesn't know about it, I'm going to bring it up anyways. So, Child's Play, my favorite horror franchise, a few months ago, finally got the love and attention they deserve by Shout Factory, and they released a 4K collection here for the first 3 only, the first 3 Child's Plays. Just want to show them off real quick, talk about them, and recommend them in case you are curious if they're worth the upgrade. The answer is yes. I would upgrade to these 4K Blu-rays. You get the reversible covers, so you get the original cover with the new poster there. Looks pretty cool. Lots of bonus features on all of them. Some of these didn't ever really have bonus features to begin with, like Child's Play 2 and 3. My DVD and my other Blu-ray for these films had like nothing. And now with Shout Factory, you finally get like all these new interviews and commentaries, and you get, look at this poster. Like, that's awesome. Like, and speaking of posters, it's not really a post cover. The cover, but you do get posters of these covers, like 12 by 18s or something. You got Chucky on the back. It's like a still that's not even from the movie. Like, that's not even from the movie. That must be like a production still. Like, he never makes that face in the movie. You got Child's Play 3 here. Commentary on here finally. Like I said, my other DVDs and Blu-rays never had commentaries, but now we finally got commentaries for these films. And so yeah, I do want to warn you though, if you decide to listen to the Child's Play 2 commentary, the director starts crying in the middle of the commentary for a couple of minutes. It was pretty sad. Hold on. And then I looked him up. Apparently he hung himself a couple of years ago. So that was just really uncomfortable. I'm like, I know the director's dead, and I'm listening to his commentary, and he's like bawling his eyes out. It was really weird, but yeah, that was just super sad. But yeah, I just want to warn you in case you want to listen to the commentary. Like, the director's going to start crying in the middle of it, and it was really uncomfortable. So, and this 4K collection thing came with a little doll figure In my last video, I talked about how I did not own any action figures for horror movies. Now I do, officially. So, great place to start my collection, Child's Play. All right, now let's jump into some mini reviews for these films. We're going to start with X. This is a Ty West movie. And he also did Pearl this year, which is the prequel. And so I'm just going to look at my notes because I saw this movie back in March. I can't remember much about it. So what I have here about X is that it's a slow burn set in the 70s, like throwback, where the horror of the movie is growing old. Like that's what I got from the movie. It's like growing old is just depressing and scary. And it feels like many classics melted together here in one pot. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho, The Visit, and a little bit of Lake Placid in there because there's like a killer alligator. And so it has solid performances. It's got Mia Goth. She's pretty good in it. And I had a few chuckles. There's some vulgar, like sexual humor in it. It's about these teenagers making young adults making a porno. And there's some good gore, but nothing amazing. 2 kills are with a shotgun, which I'm not a fan of. And 1 by an alligator, which could have been much more graphic. And some of the writing felt a bit forced, some decisions I didn't like, and some things that just didn't really make sense. You gotta suspend disbelief. It seemed like the old people who are really old and fragile, like they're just like teleporting around. It was ridiculous. The lighting is very dark, which I kind of liked. It created a mood and atmosphere. It was a lot of dark lighting, and lots of shadows being used. I think just to hide the old makeup because the main old lady is played by Mia Goth. Also, she's playing 2 roles in that movie, and so they kind of keep her in the shadows to hide the makeup. The reveal in the basement should have been much more amazing. Like it should have been way more spectacular, more macabre, because the movie opens at the end, which I hate that trope in movies. And it's like they're looking at something that's like, oh my God. And you're like, oh my God, what were they looking at? And then when you see what they were looking at the end, you're like, oh, that's it. Like that was a big reaction that cop gave to nothing. Like that, I don't know. Like it should have been better. But I really liked the soundtrack, and the score had an eerie, ghostly, like woman moaning sound to it. But yeah, I liked it. I wasn't strongly on board with it beginning to end. I didn't love this movie like a lot of people. I give it like a 7 out of 10. So next movie, Pearl. Jeez, I'm gonna try to be quicker than that. Pearl. So this is the prequel to X by Ty West. This is more of a character study, like a drama. It's a character-driven prequel to the sleazy slasher, 70s throwback X, with a phenomenal performance by Mia Goth. I think she gives an incredible performance here. And just like X, the film, the pace is a little bit of a slow burn and has a couple moments of gore, but when there's practical effects in the film, these looked fantastic. There's a beheading on screen that looked real. And there's one awesome scene with Mia Goth giving this incredible performance where she just goes on this monologue for like 5 minutes straight. Actually, I think it was closer to 7 minutes. She just goes through like all these different emotions. It's fantastic. There's one weird memorable scene with Pearl pretend fucking a scarecrow, so that will be forever in my brain. I'll never forget that. But yeah, like Mia Goth is the highlight of the movie. The music didn't really stand out in this one. The music in X was better. The soundtrack's mostly quiet. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I liked this one more than X. So I would give this one like an 8 out of 10. So next movie will be Wounded Fawn. I just watched this one like a week ago. This one's interesting. It's like a psychedelic, serial killer movie with Greek mythology, an old school grainy filter. Looks 70s, like the style of it, some of the camera work, the blood, very bright red. So obviously it's a throwback film. Also, kind of has the Evil Dead vibe going on. The main character's name is Bruce, and he has a similar looking outfit on. The only thing I don't like about this movie is the ending. I didn't really understand it fully. It seemed like it was going in one direction. It was one kind of film, and then they reveal this at the very end. I'm like, well, that's a different film than what I thought I was watching. Like I thought it was this, now it's that. I didn't really like that. But if you pay attention to the first like 3 minutes of the film, they basically spell it all out, like what is going to happen later on. They give you like all the explanations. But yeah, that thing at the very end, I just wish they didn't do that. Like, just take that out. Um, like a cool twist or more exposition, I think could have improved the film greatly. I like the look of the film, the cinematography, the freaky demon-looking gods, and like the owl hallucination throughout that this guy sees. The score was solid. The performance by the main actor Josh Rubin I thought was good, and Meredith. And there's a scene where Josh Rubin jerks off into a sink, so that was interesting. But yeah, I mainly just have a bunch of questions written down because of that ending. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is it this? Is it that? Like, how do you explain that? Like, I don't know. So I have a lot of questions. That's why I can't rate it too high. It's a solid 7 out of 10. It could have been an 8 or higher if it weren't for that fucking like last second thing that happened at the end. I was like, what? No. So next up is Blood Relatives. This is a lighthearted like vampire drama, like a father and his daughter that he's meeting for the first time, just going on a road trip. It's kind of like a road trip movie. Very light on horror. Like I would barely say this is barely a horror film. Like the first act seems like it could be a horror film. There's a couple of kills there, and I wish that was the movie throughout, but it just goes into a different direction, becomes less and less of a horror film throughout. But it's a vampire film, so I guess technically it counts as horror, but it was very light on that. It's a familiar story. It's just vampires instead. It seems like they're setting it up for a sequel at the end, and if they make it, I want more Josh Rubin in it, and maybe make it like a revenge tale in the sequel. That's what I want. But yeah, it's very lighthearted, some good humor, good cinematography, but just wasn't really my cup of tea. It was a good one-time watch, but not something I'm gonna check out again and again. Just needed more violence and blood for my taste. That's what I want. So next movie will be Speak No Evil. Let me find where it is. Here it is. So this is a Danish-Dutch like social satire horror film that's chock full of uncomfortable, awkward tension between these two families, and doesn't get anywhere near as disturbing as it was hyped. Everyone was blowing this movie. This is like a love or hate movie, and I'm just kind of like in the middle. It's like, it's fine, I guess. It has some good moments, but the ending and just, it's not a movie I'm ever going to watch again. It has a downer ending that just was a little anticlimactic. Like the way it just, I didn't really care for the ending. Like I like the performances. I like a couple of scenes. I like that they didn't shy away from the gore during that tongue scene, but the twist was predictable, like where it was going. Like, because of the horror film, where it's going. And then they got some tropes in here, like these, psychos keep a little collection of photos and they tape it to the walls. It's like, why would you even do that? It's like, I don't know. It's a little hard to believe some of the things going on. It's these characters, you don't really care about them because they're pussies. They're just terrible people that just do not do shit to defend themselves. So you're like, you deserve what's coming to you. So why should I care what's happening to you right now? Why should I be emotionally like devastated by what's happening right now? I'm not, because I don't care. So that really hurt the film. I wanted to care more about these people, make them more believable, but that was the whole point, I guess. There was a cool line in the movie. It was very like the strangers, where they're like, why are you doing this? And instead of saying because you were home, in this movie they say something like, because you let me. So that was a cool line. I like the score of the film. It created a nice sense of dread throughout. But yeah, so that's all I gotta say about Speak No Evil. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's fine. It's a 6 out of 10. Never gonna watch it again. So next movie is Violent Night. I don't have any notes written for it, so I can finally look at the camera now. So Violent Night. This is not a horror film, but What this movie is a action comedy set during Christmas about Santa Claus taking down a gang of robbers. It is Home Alone meets Die Hard. And it's got the guy from Stranger Things and Hellboy. It's gory as hell in the third act. That's where a lot of the action and violence is saved for. In the middle, it's a lot of, story driven dialogue, heavy, like some good humor. But it's mainly, focused on the story, not a lot of action in the middle. I would have liked a couple more fight scenes there. It's mainly just the third act. It's crazy violence. And it's from the director of The Trip and the Dead Snow zombie movies. And I highly recommend checking out The Trip on Netflix. Phenomenal. I love that movie. It was so fun. Even gorier than this movie. So yeah, fun action comedy. A little corny. Could have used more in the middle. It's maybe a little longer than it needed to be. It's like an hour and 50 minutes. I don't think it needed to be that long. There's a little twist involving one of the characters in the family that you kind of saw coming. But yeah, enjoyable. Solid, like 8 out of 10 for the enjoyment factor. Good gore. It could have been easily some PG-13 garbage. They could have made it way more tame, but they decided not to because of the director that was involved. So luckily we got him and he threw a bunch of gore at the screen and I loved it. So next movie that's also very gory and Christmas related is Christmas Bloody Christmas. Saw this at the theaters tonight. This is about a robotic Santa Claus that just goes haywire. It starts killing people. And it's ridiculous. It's an over-the-top, dumb concept that takes itself seriously. It's not jokey throughout. It's not, a laugh a minute. It's very dialogue heavy. Lots of like Rob Zombie kind of dialogue. Lots of F-bombs being dropped left and right. These two characters are getting shit-faced. So as the movie progresses, they become much more vulgar and they're constantly saying, fuck, 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 fuck. What the fuck? And I liked some of their dialogue at the beginning. I was kind of liking the characters. But then as the movie went on, the more they opened their mouth, I was like, I'm starting to like you guys a little less. You're getting on my nerves. The dialogue was very just hit and miss with me. I was like, oh, please stop fucking cussing. It was very Rob Zombie. And it has Jeff Daniel Phillips from all those Rob Zombie movies in it. But yeah, I like the atmosphere of it. It's very Christmassy. Lots of what looks like fake snow everywhere and Christmas lights everywhere. So it's got the Christmas atmosphere down. Practical effects, no CGI that I noticed. Quite a few kills, some gun kills, cliche dumb cops. Not as bad as Barbarian, but still, like, when these cops came, I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Moronic cops. They don't believe her. And not only do they not believe her, but they won't let her say 2 fucking words. So, shut up, just get in the car. We're going to handcuff you. Like, she's unarmed. Like, listen to what she has to say. Like, you're just drunk, you're high. Like, it's annoying. It's a trope. But what was more annoying about the movie is how many times the, killer dies and then keeps coming back. It's like Terminator. There's some Terminator homages in here. Like, especially in the third act, in the chase, the climax, like, the way he's, like, crawling towards her, he's, like, half, like, melted, and he's got the Terminator face with the green glowing eyes. The way he looks during that scene at the end, I thought that looked awesome. I wish he looked more Terminator throughout. The poster is very deceiving, probably on purpose. He looks more like a robot in the poster, but in the movie, he just looks like a human, but he walks more robotically. It's pretty cheesy. Yeah, I like that the first couple of kills were in like POV style, but then they kind of did away with that gimmick afterwards. I wish there was more POV kills in it. A couple more kills would have been nice. The main girl, she just kind of got on my nerves a little bit, and she has weird taste in movies. Like, she has a Spookies poster on her wall, Killer's Delight on her wall, poster for that movie. And then she said, like, her favorite Freddy movie was Freddy's Dead, and her favorite Alien was Alien Covenant. Get the fuck out of here. Like, no one likes Freddy's Dead that much. But she did say Child's Play 2 was her favorite Child's Play, so then she kind of redeemed herself there. But yeah, some surprise kills. They actually kill a kid, so I like that. But yeah, it should have been more fun. Maybe less serious, more jokes. less F-bombs, and I would have been more on board. And enough with the fucking like, oh, he's dead. Oh, no, he's back. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's back. Like, he dies 20 times and he just keeps coming back. Like, oh, shit, it's not over yet. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it was a little annoying by the end. It's like, is this guy ever going to die? So, yeah, I enjoyed it, though. Just not as fun as I would have liked it to be. I just wish they didn't take it so seriously. So, that is the end of my mini reviews. Now let's quickly go through this Final Destination quiz and we will be out of here. So, we're pushing 30 minutes almost. We're 25 minutes in. So, Final Destination quiz, what this is 20 questions. Some of them will be multiple choice, I think, and some of them are true or false. And yeah, let's just go through it. And it's for the whole franchise. It's not just Final Destination 1. It's all 20. It's all 20. Yeah, I wish there was 20 movies. It's all 5 movies, 20 questions. So let's get going. Let's see how well I know this franchise. This is really a quiz for me more than you guys, because I'm going to be answering them as I read them. I'm not going to like look at the camera and wait for you guys to answer. This isn't live. So question number 1 is, many of the characters in the Final Destination movies are named after famous people from the world of horror, but which of the following is not one of the characters' surnames from the first film? Hitchcock, Karloff, Browning, or Shrek? It is Karloff. Shrek was the FBI guy, Hitchcock was the American Pie guy, and Browning was the main character. So the answer is Karloff. Number 2, what is the number of the doomed flight in Final Destination? That's easy. Come on. 180. I think we all know that. I would hope so. And question number 3, who portrays the mysterious mortician William Bloodworth in a number of the Final Destination movies? Tony Todd. Candyman. How does the first victim, Todd, ultimately get killed in Final Destination? He gets strangled by that laundry line thing. Wish is the Final Destination film that made the most worldwide box office gross, but also had the worst reviews. I would have to say the Final Destination, because it had 3D, so that's always going to get the movie more money. And everyone says that's the worst. So I'm pretty sure that's the answer. Number 6. Where was the flight's destination supposed to be in Final Destination? Paris. How is Carter killed at the end of Final Destination? These are a lot of Final Destination 1 questions. Where's 3? Carter, he's killed by a falling sign. Question number 8. Having survived the events of the first movie, where does Clear Rivers reside in Final Destination 2? In a mental institution, the asylum, the Stony Brook Institution, I think it was called, which I believe was the same location they shot Halloween Resurrection. So, number 9. In which Final Destination film are 2 women burned alive in their tanning machines? I would have said tanning beds. That's weird. Okay, oh, wait. Which movie? I was thinking characters for a second. Which movie, not characters. All right, so Final Destination 3. Duh. Number 10. The original idea for Final Destination was written as a spec script for The Twilight Zone. True or false? False. It was written for The X-Files, which James Wong and Glenn Morgan, I believe, worked on. So, question 11. Which was the first Final Destination movie to be released in 3D? The Final Destination, Part 4. Question number 12. What is revealed to be the cause of Final Destination survivor Alex's death in Final Destination 2? A lame-ass brick fell and hit him in the head. That's what killed him, which is one of the mistakes of that movie. That was really dumb. Question number 13. Guess the Final Destination movie from the following review. First-time featured director Stephen Quayle has brought this anemic franchise back to life with an unexpected infusion of horror and energy. That's Final Destination 5. I don't think he's directed much since. And 14 is, which popular TV series did Kerr Smith Carter from Final Destination star in as Jack McPhee? Which popular TV series? Ah, fuck. Isn't that the series that Kevin Williamson wrote? Like something. Fuck. I don't know. I didn't watch that. I'm sure if I read the answer, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. What was it? He plays a gay character in that, right? Carter. I'm pretty sure Kevin Williamson wrote it. I don't even remember the title of it. Fuck. Okay, that's the one I'm not going to be able to answer. Whatever. Number 15. Which sporting event are the characters watching at the beginning of the Final Destination? Part 4. NASCAR. Question number 16. Which of the Final Destination movies am I describing? There's a highway, some logs, an escape ladder, some pigeons, and an elevator. Final Destination 2. These are all pretty easy, except for that non-Final Destination question about some TV series I never watched. Number 16. Which of the Final Destination... Oh, I already did that one. 17. Which Final Destination 2 and 4, director David R. Ellis directed which Samuel L. Jackson movie set on a plane? Snakes on a Plane. And number 18. This ride will be the death of you. Which Final Destination movie is this poster tagline from? Obviously, Final Destination 3. 19. Prior to Final Destination, which cult 90s horror movie did Devon Sawa star in as Anton Tobias? Idle Hands. 20. What is the premonition at the beginning of Final Destination 5? It's a bridge collapse. So that was pretty easy. I don't even know the answer. I'm going to look it up. The one for that stupid TV series question. Where is it? Trying to find the answers in the back here, and I'm having a hard time finding Dawson's Creek. I was thinking like river for some reason in my head. I'm like, Mystic River, that's not right, that's a movie. Creek, not river, creek, Dawson's Creek. So I've heard of it, never watched it. So there, I got one question wrong because I couldn't remember the title of Dawson's Creek. But yeah, 19 out of 20, that's pretty good. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. I got it at 32 minutes. That's much better than last time. That's half the time. Let's try to keep that the norm from now on, 30 minutes. So yeah, that's the end of episode 2. I will see you whenever I see you again in a week or so, and I'll do a Stephen King ranking, my top 10 favorite Stephen King films, and talk more mini reviews and horror news. So until then, goodbye.